Had a good day today. Practice. It was good to get the guys out there, and a couple of guys that are nicked up are working their way back in, which is good. But working hard, good effort. Young guys are getting better, which is a plus. We're still throwing a ton at them, and they're doing well. So appreciate their effort on that. Anyways, with that, time's yours.
Speaking of people who are working themselves back in, Coach, what did you think of Sky Moore? It seemed like he was able to do a lot more than what he's been doing the last month.
Yeah, no pun intended. Yes, he has been doing a lot more. He's doing a good job of understanding what we're trying to get done. Now it's just a matter of the reps and catching up with the other guys, what they're doing.
With MVS, I call him because I have a terrible time pronouncing his name.
Sure, Marquez.
Now that you're getting to see him on the field and everything, what have been the impressions? What stood out to you about him?
Yeah, so he's a big kid, but he's got real good flexibility, hips. He can change direction, and he's got that speed, which I think we all knew he had. And he's in, you know, he's able to work some of the primary underneath routes that he maybe didn't do quite as much in Green Bay because of who they had there. So I've been pleased with how he goes by. Very, very smart kid. And so he's doing a nice job for us, working hard.
How much do you believe in the value of having a #1 receiver, you know, that idea? Do you think MVS has a skill set that could be that in your offense?
Yeah, I've never really gotten into that. You know, we don't have a position for the #1 guy necessarily. I mean, everybody gets an opportunity. I think if you can spread it around a little bit, I think that's the best that you can do. You know, so we've tried to do that, although the great ones always make a play here or there. So then people go, well, he's the #1 guy. Well, we don't really determine it that way. So that we give them all plays, that are positioned. Every one of them have plays in the offense, and offense that gets called. So it's just a matter of what the defense presents to it, and then how you handle it from there.
Andy, this is year 2 of Nick and Willie working together. I just wonder what you see now that shows an improvement from where they were a year ago. See when Nick was a rookie, just how that dynamic may work this
Sure.
season.
Yeah, well, they've got a bond. I mean, they've known each other a long time, so they've got that natural thing that's going on there, and then they work at it. And so I like what I've seen. I think both of them are much more comfortable in what we're doing right now than what they were at the beginning of last year. So it's been, so far, so good, productive. It's been good. This camp's been good for those guys. Yeah.
With Clyde, we're talking to Clyde later today. I understand that every NFL guy knows that their job's always up for grabs. When you bring in another guy that's clearly going to be competing for carries with him, do you have conversations with the guy that was already here? Do you just wait to see how he handles it? How do you?
Yeah, I mean, Clyde knows. I tell the guys we're going to try to bring as much. I tell the whole team this. We're going to try to bring as much competition. That's what Brett does, and that makes you better. And you don't look over your shoulder, man. It's full steam ahead, and just work on your game. But there's going to be competition. But you got to competition. Take care of maximize what you can do. And you don't have to worry about anything else. Best you can do, right? So I haven't had to specifically talk to him, although he knows that there's good players there.
Coach, specific to Nick Bolton, last year he seems like he either met or exceeded your expectations. How does he follow up a year like that in this year? What are your expectations of him coming into 2022?
Yeah, I think the more understanding he has and the more he does it, you even get to see it even becomes more friendly to his instincts. And so where you saw him in the run game really be effective, now he's able to work on the pass game. That's what these camps are. And so that's where you see linebackers make a little jump from their first year into the second and third year. They get all these reps with the pass game, and I think that'll help him down the road, just as a rounding off his game. So it's and he's attacking it like crazy right now. So he's really put a lot of effort into that.
Coach, the news is out there that Orlando finally has an agent. Just how optimistic is Brad now that has happened, that maybe this is
Yeah, so he's talked to the people that are working with Orlando, and they'll keep doing that. So it's good that he's taken that step forward, for sure.
Andy, in a year like this, do you look back at kind of the foundation of your vast array of plays differently than you do in any other year, audit it differently, just because of the dramatic change with Tyreek and other options?
Well, yeah, so, I mean, you've been around us for a while, Vahe, so we try to say, okay, what's your strengths? Let's exploit those. So we're doing that with some of the new guys. Let's try to exploit their strengths, and then whatever we feel like they need to work on from there, we'll work on it. And that's no different than we've done with anybody that's been here. So there's some different plays in there for different people for what we think are their strengths, and we roll from there. But
In
yeah.
some ways, or does that mean you're bringing back stuff you've had, or is
Yeah, we do that. We bring some stuff back. We bring some stuff out of the sky. We bring it. We'll take any of your plays you got. Hey, Doug.
Coach, it seems like Josh Gordon had a nice workout today. Just how beneficial has it been maybe now to have been here mid-season and then?
Yeah, well, you guys were out there. You could see him that he's running better, catching better. He's working hard at all of this. He's a good kid and he's smart, so that helps. And so that's the way he's approached this whole thing, and he's getting reps, so he can get himself back where he wants to be.
Because he came in late, was he just trying to get into football shape, or was he dealing with an injury, and then alternatively, how much of that is just trying to digest your offense and understand what he needs to be out there without thinking?
Yeah, it was kind of getting back in the flow of playing the game, and then you're throwing a whole new offense kind of right in the middle of it all, and asked to pick all that up. So, that's and probably work himself into playing shape, just getting himself back. Or seemed like it was moving fast for him, but now it's kind of slowed down, and looks like he's doing better after the catch. When he catches the ball, he's able to maneuver around in space. I think he's lost a little bit of weight. He was pretty big when he got here. He's a big guy anyways, but I mean, I think he dropped a little bit of weight there too.
Coach, you're such a guy that's been around you for the past few years, Garrett Dieter, and now it's his retirement. No matter if someone's on the practice squad or number one man on the roster, what advice do you offer them as they transition?
I'm not worried about him. He's gonna make a lot of money, and he's a good dad, and he'll have a good post-playing career. Chicken and pickle. He'll be chicken and pickling it to death. He's everywhere, so he'll be fine. I'm not worried about Dieter.
Hey, Coach, when you've got a franchise tag player, they're in a unique situation. Sometimes things either get said by the agent or the player. How do you compartmentalize that, for yourself and for the team?
Yeah, I mean, listen, there are things that are said, and half of it might not have been really said, and the other half, maybe was. My thing is, you just try to do what you have to do to make it right and be as honest as you can. So, and we're quiet about that. We try to do everything behind with the person that we're involved with, and not tell the world about it. So that's how we go about business. And our guys are very honest and deliberate, and we've always, which I think is a great way to go, and something Clark believes in. But fair for the player, fair for the team. Let's roll. And so, and that can be done, with a good working relationship.
With that said, Coach, Orlando yesterday on NFL Network said he felt confident that
Sure.
the deal would get done. I know it's 5 weeks between now and the deadline. Just where do you get the sense that this is handling?
Yeah, I think that way. I mean, Orlando, we love Orlando here, so he's a good human being, and he's a good professional. He's grown up around it. I think he's got good counsel. So, we'll just got to work through it. I mean, I don't see anything that that's going to get in the way there. Just had the guys working together, keeping everything open like any other opportunity that you have to do deals with players. They normally don't happen overnight, so you work through it, and then again you come up with something that's good for the team. I know Orlando has a ton of respect for winning and all that stuff, so you're juggling. Beach has got to do this, so I can say he's got to juggle all the salary cap, which is a crazy deal. So, but the agents understand that too.
Ms. Karen?
Coach, next week, grand finale, mandatory minicamp, and you take a little time off. Do things ramp up next week? Do you try to get everything in we have to know before training camp?
You know, we've basically got everybody here for the most part, so we're not going to go back and have to rehash everything. We'll just kind of keep it going. And we did that early, though. We kind of redid everything back when, but guys, we've had good attendance, and especially with the new guys, and I've been happy with that. So we're just going to keep plowing through and get it knocked out. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Coach.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Who's up first?
There's no K in my name, so don't say Marquez. All right, let's do it.
So how are you getting involved in the offense here? What's your initial thoughts as you've gone through these OTA practices, working with Patrick and all the rest of us?
Yeah, man, it's fun. Get out there, new team, new environment, new players, new coaching staff. You know, I'm just embracing the opportunity and going out and trying to put my best foot forward.
What's different from, working with, Aaron and now Patrick?
I mean, they're both the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. You know, so there's not much difference. You know, one's just a little bit older. So.
Marquez, hey, I know there's a lot of things that go into where the ball goes on any given play, but it seems like when Pat's out there, it's coming your way a lot. Anything that you can point your finger towards on that? Like why?
I'm just open. I don't know. Just get open and Pat will find you. That's kind of, he's the best in the business doing that. Finding the open guys and giving them chances. So that's just kind of what it's been.
We've asked Patrick what was beneficial for him when he brought you guys together in Texas, but for you coming into a new team, what was the most that you got out of that time?
Just meeting the guys, man. Football is football, X's and O's. Everybody can get out there and run some routes and catch some footballs. But just being able to, interact on a personal level. Not just talk about football, but to go out to dinner and go out to lunch and kind of see what these guys are like and say, hey, this is, these can be my group of friends, and we kind of do the same things or have the same interest, So just being able to make new friends, I think that was the most important part. Just being down in Texas with them for a couple of weeks.
Sorry, how long specifically did you spend? Because I know different players spend different amounts of time.
I was down there for about 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
And there was one moment of practice today where it looked like it was you, Patrick, and Matt Nagy sort of talking through a previous play. Could you just share some insight on what that particular conversation?
We just kind of always just talk. That's something that I did a lot when I was in Green Bay. Kind of just talk about things that they see and how they see it. Because obviously you want to be able to be on the same page as the quarterback. So being able to think how he thinks and hear what he thinks with him and his quarterback coach, I think is super important. So go over there and just, hey, why'd you guys do this? Or those things like that are super important. So we can always be on the same page.
Marquez, do you envision your role being any different in Kansas City compared to what it was in Green Bay?
I mean, I can't speak on the future, but obviously I'm here for a reason, and I want to make the best of the opportunity.
Marquez, there was a play out there today in practice. I think it was 11 on 11. Mahomes with a no-look pass to you, and then you stuck it with a one-handed grab with your left hand. As a receiver, and you have a quarterback who's capable of doing that kind of stuff, what do you need to do mentally to know that? Even though he's not looking at me, that ball still could come this way.
I mean, I had the first quarterback that did it, so I got that a lot. And you kind of just always be aware of the ball can come to you at any given time. Playing with Aaron for 4 years, he did it a lot. I think one of my first passes that he threw to me in training camp was a no-look pass. So I'm accustomed to it, and just always be prepared because they have eyes in the back of their head and they can throw the football any kind of way, behind his head, wherever, So, Pat's gifted like that where he can, do those kind of things. And I'm just excited to have another quarterback that is just that talented.
Aaron Rodgers passed.
What was, you mentioned just going to Texas, benefit of that was learning personality as much as the football. What was your takeaway just on Patrick's personality?
Yeah, I mean, we're like the same age, so we have a lot of the same interests. He likes, sports. Obviously, he was a baseball player. I was a baseball player growing up, too, so we can connect on that. He's super competitive. He wants to win everything, and I'm the same way. And he's just a fun guy, likes to talk about whatever, loves his family. And I think that's just a huge thing. And just being able to interact with a guy that's, very similar to you in, all facets.
Hey, Marquez, I don't want you to be critical of anything at Green Bay, but Andy had kind of mentioned you're getting a chance to run some underneath routes and some things that you maybe didn't get to because of personnel that was there. So are you excited? There's probably a lot more targets available in this offense than there were in Green Bay, and maybe an expanded role for you. So are you excited for that opportunity?
Yeah, of course. Not necessarily saying I was limited in Green Bay, but we had specific roles that we did. And when I was there, we were a pretty good offense, for my 4 years. So it worked. And we won a lot of football games. So you can't really complain when you're winning. And I think that was got to just be unselfish, and that's kind of how we won so many games there. And obviously, whatever I can do here to bring that same type of winning mentality. Obviously, they've been winning for a long time as well, so I just want to step in and do whatever I can to do that.
When you're going through your free agent process, how important was maybe opportunity when you were talking to different teams and eventually landing here?
Yeah, I mean, that was huge. Obviously, during free agency, you got to figure out what's going to be the best fit for you. And I think that was just the focus of where it was going to be a place where I can go in and be myself.
When we first talked to you, you mentioned just how much of an influence Davante was. To kind of Todd's question, with running some of those, shorter routes or more routes in the intermediate area, just how much did you gain from him that can be beneficial for this type of opportunity for you, knowing that, he's now with a new team as well?
A lot. I mean, like I said, between him and Randall Cobb, my 4 years in Green Bay, I learned so much from those guys. They were the epitome of what you want for a veteran leader. On and off the field. I talk to Davante regularly. Just talked to him yesterday. We send clips back and forth to each other of like, hey, what could I have done here? Or show me something that you did in practice that I liked. And, so that's one of my, closest friends. And, we still talk regularly. And, I think that he's going to be great. I could see him twice a year. So that's going to be fun as well. But I mean, he's just one of those guys that you can't really, replicate. And, he's one of a kind talent. But he'll teach you everything that he can teach you. And I think that's a great thing. And I definitely want to be able to teach the younger guys underneath me the same things that I was taught.
Last one, Adam.
You talked about earlier that one of the first passes you caught from Aaron in practice was a no-look. Did you catch the ball? Were you ready for it then?
Yeah, I mean, I caught it. I wasn't ready for it. But yeah, it was, he had rolled out to the left, and I was on the wide side of the field to the right, and he no-looked to come back to the other side of the field and wasn't even prepared for it. I thought he was throwing it away, and it's like, oh, it's my football, So, like I said, he's one of those guys that you can't really, emulate. And then, you got Pat, who has that same level of talent, So I'm just super excited to have, the two best quarterbacks to throw me the football. I guess I'm living right, to have that.
Thanks, Marquez. Thanks,
Yeah.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You doing?
Go ahead and fire away.
Nick, when you had that nice interception, do you know when you make a play like that Pat's probably coming for you in the next play or two?
Oh yes, always feeling competition. Pat, I know, is making me better every single day. As y'all the guys know, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So competing against him every single day. Him, Trav, receivers we just got in as well, make us better every single day. So we're all striving to be perfect. Never going to get there, but I'm excited where we're at.
Year two in this scheme now, Nick. Where do you feel like you are defending the pass? I mean, you did have. It seemed like out there you had an interception, a pass breakup, and then Andy had mentioned that this is the natural progression for you to take that step. But where do you think you are defending against the pass?
Oh yeah, definitely feel like I'm trending in the right direction. Long way to go. It's a different position. I started going into this year, and so playing the mic is different from being on the outside. So trying to get the spacing of that part, kind of getting better at it, but still got a long way to go.
How are you adjusting to the mic?
Going to the mic has actually been pretty smooth. Last season I put a little bit in sub, and so going in there a little bit. getting the green dot a little bit works out. So kind of some continuity going from base to sub, but still a lot of guys working out at the Mike position. So we're just seeing where we're going from there.
Are you more comfortable with your pass coverage responsibilities at the Mike than you were outside?
Kind of similar. Again, just different in spacing. We got different things we do at the Mike position. We do different as well. So learn those things and trying to add those, trying to perfect those things, kind of is what a growing progression is for this offseason.
You're obviously projected to have more snaps. Are you doing anything conditioning-wise to maybe get ready to be on the field quite a bit more?
Oh yeah, definitely. I got to get back in shape. Again, it's way different playing at the Mike position. You're going to be on the play more times than you are in the will position. So I want to be in a position where I can go silent on the sideline, get better in shape, kind of like where I was weight-wise last season. So I'm just going to try to get better in shape as we go along.
We ask you about Willie a lot, but Elijah Lee is new to the room. What has he brought to you as far as veteran leadership and kind of helping out in different ways?
Yeah, by far he's an older vet in the room, so he's seen a lot of football, played a lot of different schemes and stuff. So him coming in and allowing us to help him learn the scheme, and then he's also giving us feedback on what he's seen, on how people try to attack the schemes that we're in. And so he's been beneficial for us, and I'm excited for him to be here.
Has he helped you? I mean, he's a Blue Spring, Kansas City area guy. Has he helped you get to know the town a little bit?
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, he came in, kind of let us know different more places to eat and stuff like that. And so he's been helpful for us around this area, and also we don't stay far from each other, so get to hang out a lot. So that's cool as well.
Nick, do you feel more like a leadership role with now, two of the leaders gone from last year, Hitch and Tyrann Mathieu? Do you feel that it's your chance now to step up and lead this defense?
Oh, yes, ma'am. I feel like it's our times, our young guys, not just me, Willie, we got Justin Reed coming in, Jawan, young guys on D-line. It's just our time to kind of step up and lead as a group. It's not one person. Nobody should be able to replace Hitch, Tyrann Mathieu. Those guys are special guys, and that's the reason why they wore C's. And so it's just up for us to come in as a group and trying to get guys in the best position as possible to play.
Knowing that it's early, I mean, how's the communication been so far early on with you and Justin Reed?
Oh, yeah, it's been great. I got to train with him a little bit at Arizona, as I mentioned before, so we kind of had a little bit, we could kind of talk a little bit football there, and then since he's been here, he's been great. High energy guy. Him and Willie probably compete for high energy on the defense, so it's always exciting to be around.
Speaking of pass coverage, you're probably not going to see more difficult matchups than what you see in practice going up against Travis. What does facing Travis in practice and covering him really do for you? What have you learned from going up against him?
Vet savvy. Run routes, can make a stem look different, and run a different route. And so just kind of learning from him, seeing what he sees when we run zone coverage. He runs routes differently versus man coverage and stuff like that. So learning from him, learning how he stems stuff, learning how they do their spacing on offense helps us out tremendous.
Nick, did you do anything this offseason to improve catching the football? I think there were plays last year where you were around the ball a lot, but seeing a play like today's interception, is there anything that you did in the offseason that sort of identified that maybe you had more opportunities to get turnovers?
Yeah, just trying to capitalize on turnovers. I had a couple opportunities late in the season. Two of them Cincinnati, I believe. I probably could have run game, probably could have changed the game a little bit. So just kind of working on those things, getting on the jug. Not everything's going to be perfect as it is in practice. So when you get opportunities presented, you just got to make them.
Nick, statistically last year, all the tackles that you were able to amass, overall a great season. But when you look back at that year, was there anything that you noticed that I could have improved on this and I want to apply it to 2022?
The big picture thing is just vision, seeing the field better. Coming in as the first year, everything's moving kind of fast. The season progressed, kind of slowed down a little bit. And so this season just opened up my vision, be able to see more things on the field at one time, kind of has to play a little bit faster, and so that's what I'm aiming toward.
One more, anybody? Okay.
This time last year, you've just been drafted, still learning the defense. How much more comfortable are you this time around? You know the building, you know the playbook, these things going into your second season.
Oh yeah, complete 180. It's a lot smoother. Again, everybody that's around here is instilling confidence in me, Willie included. So everybody's coming in just trying to give me the most confidence possible to lead a team and go out there and play fast. And so I'm counting on those guys, they're counting on me, and so we're just gonna keep building, keep stacking days.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
I pick who goes first?
You should. Who do you want to go first?
It doesn't matter. Who wants to go first?
I'll go. Hey, Clyde,
Sure.
are the things you're trying to improve on this time of year, as opposed to just generally getting better? I mean, are there specific things you're maybe working on this offseason?
Well, this is a pass camp, so mainly running routes and catching passes. Something that I try to pride myself on throughout the offseason because there's only so much running you can do. You can't go running between the tackles in the offseason. So you're going to do so much training as far as that. But everybody knows our offense. They know who our quarterback is. They know who we are as an identity. So catching passes and running routes has been my thing.
Clyde, it's interesting you said that. Everybody knows the offense. So many changes on offense.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of teams bolstered their defenses to take on this offense.
Mm-hmm.
So are you going to surprise a few people with some of the new people and what they can do that might be different than what was done last year?
Everybody brings something different to the table, and that's the great thing about this offense is you can stick anybody anywhere, and as long as we know what we're doing and executing, it can be unmatched depending on, you know, as far as our matchups. I can line up from in 1, 2, 3 spot, 4, and run any route as far as the route tree. Trav can do the same thing from MVS to Juju to McCole. So it just shows you that we can be as versatile as we want, and now everybody just has to play our matchup, and it's not the same thing that they've been seeing the last 6 years. Pointed as, you know, year 3, I was looking at it the same way. First year I got drafted, everybody was like, oh, you know, this. Second year, dealt with some injuries, and now, you know, it's year 3, so it's like everybody's like, you know, that. But it's always a sense of urgency for me, so that's just what it is.
So no different than the first 2 then?
As far as preparation or,
Urgency that you just mentioned, you said you.
I don't know, I mean, you know, being able to do the things that I did, starting running back as a rookie, playing a Super Bowl, and then really just battling injuries through last year, I feel like I bring the intensity, and as far as being a professional from the offseason and coming into the season, I do everything I need to.
What's the connection with Ronald Jones like for you? I mean, just so far as you guys are just trying to get assimilated in there.
As far as like just being around, I mean, just he was somebody that I've talked to beforehand. I mean, Leonard was in his room, and then Darn was also in Tampa, so it wasn't just like, oh, this is some random dude coming in. We had conversations with each other, been on FaceTime with each other. I'm close friends with Leonard, and everybody knows Leonard's a clown. So it's like we kind of talk and do those things. But it was like, you know, a running back kind of like mingle thing. Like we don't sit here and like, oh man, that dude plays for this team, I'm not gonna talk to him. Like we all people, so it's just one of those things. I talk to him like any normal person, and when he came in, it was just this is what it is. Talk to you as a person. You have a question, I have a question. We learn from each other, and we go out here and try to improve. That's about it.
The running back room looks a little different now, right? You talked about last year leaning on Darryl a lot.
Yep.
Who is it you go to now for, you know, any advice you need in that room?
It's man, I can go to anybody, and I remember it's funny that you say that because I remember telling G. Lou, it's like, man, I could have a baby in here teaching me, but if they telling me something that I don't know, it's something that I can learn from. So I can care less who's actually teaching me. I mean, he might, Pac or Ely or Fleet might see something that I didn't see. And that's just what it is. You can train everything, what you want to do, but one thing you can't train in this profession is eyes. And that's the things that separates everybody apart.
It's been out there about your, gallbladder surgery and not really having a full training regimen. Now that you've been able to do that, how do you feel already that maybe has made an impact on what you can do this year?
I feel great. Just being able to, it's a lot of things with it. Food intake, everything. I was, weight was fluctuating and everything else. And it was something that I didn't need to spew out to the media, but it was something that I was able to conquer every week. And it was, everybody, you say whatever, but I mean, I got 4 incisions in my stomach, and then I was able to go out here and do fall camp without a hiccup. So it's just one of those things that mentally, man, if you tell yourself you can do it, you do it. But I mean, I wasn't necessarily thinking about it. I know this is my job. A gallbladder surgery, stomach surgery, whatever it is, wasn't going to stop me from going out there playing ball.
This is the best you've felt since coming out?
Yeah, most definitely. I would say I had the gallbladder surgery after the Super Bowl. So I would say pretty much since pretty much after that point, best I felt.
You guys won the Super Bowl against.
I wasn't here when we won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, okay.
Clyde, you mentioned MVS. Just what's your first impression?
Speed, fast, nice hands, taller than me, obviously. But man, I like MVS as even when we were in Texas doing our phase 1 routes and everything. I mean, just the way he explains things, and you can see his years in the league. He's so wise as far as coverages and man coverage and zones and everything. He's able to communicate with Pat, and they're able to like get through those certain things of communication that I wouldn't necessarily say I'm not used to doing, because that's what we do here. We communicate, but just seeing that firsthand from somebody who comes from Green, but like it wasn't even, I would say, a month before he was already dialed into the playbook and understanding what was going on. So great guy, absolutely love him. We text and talk about cars and everything else, because that's obviously one of my passions, but now one of his too. So it's just one of those things, we're able to connect, not just on football, but being able to be friends and everything outside of football is what brings us so close.
You talk about those workouts down in Texas. What were the benefits of those to you?
Timing, and I would say like it wasn't like old linemen were there, but as far as getting the timing down with Pat, and then I mean, like you guys say every week, it's a whole new offense. Everybody's different than everybody else. So I mean, I was able to meet people. Like that's really what you want to do. You don't want to just go out here and be my first time, meeting a guy, and we all got our, pads and helmets on and everything else, and it's nothing. It's like connecting. If anybody can just know me or know the next person, personality-wise, we realize we go out there, we just having fun. And if you're able to kind of get over that hump during the off season, which we did probably the first 2 or 3 days, as just breaking the ice and getting to know each other, the next easiest thing is just learning the playbook and being able to communicate about it. So that's what we did.
Being the lead back, what's your initial reaction when the Chiefs do take a running back in the 7th, and then how soon do you reach out and kind of help him get acclimated?
Immediately. I mean, that was same thing that happened to me, man. It's the NFL. It's the world we live in. Every year is gonna be somebody getting drafted, your position or another position, or just what it is. I mean, me in college, I'm thinking like, okay, when is going to be my turn to get drafted, and when I get a chance to be on that field. I mean, it's 32 teams. You're not expanding anything. Like, it's what it is, bro. That next person learns. That person, who's a starter gets older, and it's a time clock that'll never keep going. So at some point, all y'all will be out of here too.
Should we end on that last two, staying on the top?
Clyde, dealt with some injuries late in your rookie year as well. And obviously, you mentioned the stomach stuff. I guess that was going on most of that year. And then last year, you get hurt in week 5. Has it been kind of frustrating that you haven't been able to gather momentum because of things that might be a little bit out of your control?
Yeah, and I would mainly say it was really just the timing of it. I mean, you probably could see pinpoint games where, he getting ahead of steam and he about to start rolling, and it's just kind of just like, well, he dealt with that injury, and it's just one of those things. And like, even with just having those injuries late at the end of my rookie year, I did something to my hip and my ankle that I thought I wasn't even gonna play year 2, and I was able to get back out there year 1. So it's and playing the Super Bowl. So it was just, I never really was injured in college. So it's just one of those things. I was hurt, but I was able to kind of, I wouldn't say immediately get back from it, but something that they think that I was going to be out for at least going into the middle of year 2, and I was able to get back within a month. I say that speaks not only everybody as far as helping me in the training room at KC, but just the things that I was doing at home and being able to come here and get the work done and be a professional about everything. It's not just about me, it's about those guys on the field. So that's why I'm out here, that's why I'm here, that's why they wanted me here, and I'm here to win. That's it.
Last one, Todd.
I know you said you learn from anybody in the room, but is there value in having a guy like Ronald Jones who's a veteran? I mean, this is one of the first years you really had a guy who's established in the league along with you to kind of bounce ideas off of and kind of roll.
Established as far as how many years? I mean, last year I had Jet McKinnon, who got drafted in 13, and dealt with injuries here, there. So it was, and I had years that he was, absolutely rolling. So I mean, I wouldn't just pinpoint it as that one guy. I was able to learn from multiple guys, and not just my position. And that's the thing about, you don't have to pinpoint just one position or just stay in. Like I go ex Travis about stuff. I ex Pat, I ex O lineman, because I mean, you never really know. Everybody deals with injuries, and everybody's body's pretty much the same. So I'm not going to, talk to this person and this person if they never dealt with it. I try to get as many resources as possible. And like I said, Jet was one of those guys. Jet got drafted in 13 or 14, I want to say, and I was like in the 8th grade. So it's like, it's like over time, like, I mean, he's still playing, and he was able to play at a high level. So it's like those, you sit there and you look at that and you watch that, and you're like, okay, how can I at some point get in that category, or can I be in that same, playing at that same level when I'm that age or been in the league that many years? So you ask him those questions, and then it's eating habits and body and just pretty much being a professional. So, you know, like I say, I can learn from anybody, but as far as within those last years, like I learned from Dirty, I learned from those guys in the room, but Jet was a big part of that last year too.
Thanks, everyone.
You're welcome.